Okay, Tavis, Shearer, Tom Hitchcock, how are you doing today?
Great, mate. How about yourself?
Tip top, thank you. Tip top. You're dressed like it's a Friday. I like it.
Oh, this is my general outfit, man. It's a the glasses thing is a leftover thing from my Perth days. I even used to do it in London in the middle of winter.
Yeah, love it. So when was you in London?
I started off in Twickenham on top of the Up and Under Hotel next to the train station. And then I moved to, where did I go? Holland Park, the Shepherd's Bush end. I was there for about a year. And then most of my other time was Wimbledon.
Okay, fair play. I know Twickenham well. I know there's a new hotel above the train station now.
It's almost been 14 years since I've been back there, man. But I go back since I was living there, man. But like London made my recruitment career, man. I knew fuck all about recruitment. I had 1 year's experience when I moved to London, and then like I had an apprenticeship, but I came back with a doctorship, man. Like London was wild.
Yeah, is a great town. Yeah, there's a lot of things going for it. And it definitely just the UK in general, you touched on recruitment there, so you're talking my field as well.
Yeah.
The UK is a melting pot for recruitment because there's per job, per recruiter, there's less of them. Okay. And you really need to punch to capture it and make it count every time. So you need to do the hard yards for it. So when you come to Australia with the back of that, it's 1,000 times easier. So to go the other way around must be hard.
So I had a year recruitment experience in Perth. 2000. When did I get in recruitment? 21, 22. Been dating girl. The girl came home from work one day and said, I'm moving to London. You can either follow me or, we'll just call it a day. And I'm like, I think I was 24 at the time, 23, somewhere, about a year and a bit experience. I went, okay, whatever. I'll follow her, see what happens. Anyway, went to the UK, ended up working for a company called Technical Resourcing, which was part of Community Resourcing, which then rebranded to Resourcing Group, which got bought out by James Kahn, Dragon's Den. And that was, 2003, 2004, wild times in London, right? Did a local authority building surveyor desk over there, kind of missed my trades and labour construction routes, went to Nathan Colborne and Chris and Simon and Scott and said, I think I could build you boys a trades desk. They'd never touched it before. They'd always done all the white collar local authority stuff. I never did partnering contractors, never did that. So at the time, all the councils were converting to partnerships between private and public. And it was just crazy. Like we were doing contracts where I was placing 90 to 110 people, per contract. It was just wild times. And did that for a while, started an agency with the founder of Resourcing Group, Nathan Colborne, in 2007, 2008, sorry. Got divorced, separated 2009, came back to Australia. And when I came back to Australia in sort of 2009 with that London mindset, at the back end of a massive mining boom in Perth, it was literally like a blowtorch through butter. Like, it was just, I'd gone from making £100,000 a year in London to coming back to Perth and making 350 grand at 29. Like it was more money than I'd ever seen in my life.
Here we are. I love that, and this. I think you're right. So you did your apprenticeship here and your doctorate there, and it's paid off long time. I think your timing's been pretty good, whether by design or by default, because you seem to be in the right place at the right time, just as the market's shifting. I've had the opposite effect. I keep going into things in the middle of a recession.
You know what? It happens, man. Like I had perfect timing then. I started my own agency in Perth 2013. Unfortunately, that ended quite spectacularly almost 4 years later, where I went bust at the ripe old age 35, 36, owing $1.2 million. That was an interesting one to sort out. I moved to Melbourne, almost 10 years ago now, with about $5,000 to my name. Started TRS Resourcing, which is Tavis Ryan Shearer, and resourcing is a nod to my mentor Nathan Colborne, who's no longer with us. And I started again with $5,000 as a sole trader, and basically built the business up from there. So, you say you've had the opposite timing. It all gets us at some stage, man. It doesn't matter how fucking good you are. It doesn't matter how well you hone your recruitment style. Eventually, the market is going to bite you in the ass, and there's nothing you can do about it, especially when you're working for yourself.
That's it. And it's about controlling what you can control. And COVID's a really good example where the carpet's pulled out from underneath our feet. I'm interested. So you had the one business that went down the pan after 4 years, quite spectacularly. Which
ended up massive.
What happened? What happened?
I broke one of the golden rules of business: don't get high on your own supply. I did too many handshake deals, too many. Yep, she'll be right. I was probably hanging around with the wrong sort of people at the time. Got some really shitty advice, thought I was untouchable, and basically just watched my whole business that I built up out of nothing blow up in front of my eyes. And no, I didn't go bankrupt. We sorted it out. The liquidation took longer than the company had traded for. And
wow.
There's plenty of stuff out there on the net, and it's not something I don't shy away from. It's not something that I recommend, but like all things that happen to you, it's how you react to it. I run TRS very differently these days. I have a CFO, Rachel, my right-hand woman. She's been with me 7-8 years. We're very different in the way. I'm very front office. She's very back office. We have catch-ups. We're polar opposites. I'm the ultimate optimist and she's the ultimate pessimist. And it has created some interesting times in the company between the two of us. But I guess where I'm seeing, like now I've got TRS resourcing, mainly Melbourne focused, a little bit in Sydney, but I'm seeing good opportunities out of both states at the moment. Last year was flat, but we still managed to push through it. This year, I've had the biggest January I've had ever. It's just been insane. There seems to be a lot of things starting to come back into the mix. And so I mean, I'm one of those lifers in recruitment. I'm a fellow of the REC. I've been around 23, 24 years, but a lot of people ask me, should I get into recruitment? And I go, absolutely. If you don't know what you want to do with yourself, go work in recruitment for a couple of years. You'll find out who you are pretty quickly.
It's interesting you say that. I've my moral compass, whenever anybody asks me to get into recruitment outside of visa reasons, which that's shifted somewhat, is I do my best to talk them out of it. So I obviously naturally allude to the champagne and razor blades analogy, but I do my best to push it back, just a little bit, especially with salespeople a little bit, because they're the ones that automatically think they can do it. And it isn't always the case. And it's not necessarily just to put them off to keep them away. It's those that really want to do it will persevere past that sort of like pushing them off, if you like. And they're the ones that will make it. They're the ones that go past that first discouragement, if you like.
Yeah.
And those that are great, brilliant, and just whimper off, then something else is for them, because they're going to come in, they're going to come back out again. But I think what you're talking to, the point you're talking to is a little bit more like a national service. Go out, do some good in the world of work, and find out who you are, what your limits are.
Absolutely. I mean, my model at TRS is to take trainees, train them, and work with me. And to date, I've only had one recruiter leave me. A lot of people knew that George Mann used to work for me for a while out of the Perth office, and I we came to an agreement about a year and a bit ago to split company, but that was mutually beneficial. I didn't want to work the Perth market anymore, and he didn't want to work Melbourne. So in the whole time at TRS Resourcing, we've only ever had one recruiter leave. I kind of feel recruitment is one of those misunderstood industries. It's a lot of people think it's about money. It's about greed. Couldn't be further from the truth. We're dealing with people's careers here. And if you learn your craft properly in recruitment, you'll take those skills anywhere in life, anywhere, and that's why I firmly believe if you're freshly out of school or you've done 4-year uni degree and you don't know what the fuck to do with yourself. And I get this question all the time. I said, go to do recruitment for a couple of years. Even if it's a year, you'll learn so much about yourself, about what you do and don't want to do. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're dealing with humans. They have epiphanies. Like, you know, you learn resilience pretty quickly in recruitment.
You do. You learn resilience, but there's also by osmosis. There's lots of things they learn about, even just simple things like what's a good CV, what's a bad CV, what's a good interview, what's a bad interview, and all these things that they can take across and reinvest into their career, which obviously, in my opinion anyway, is the biggest investment in your life. And that's career or business. It's the same, you know, just different sides of the fence, really. So well, I couldn't agree with you more on that one. And resilience for sure. You know, that's where it's misunderstood, because when we talk with some clients who just see a transactional component, here's a CV, here's an invoice, that's very expensive for this CV, and they're quite right on paper that looks a lot, but let's just look at the other way around, you know, and what needs to go in to give them that refined product.
Well, there's also another thing that the client, and I bring this up to, what's the cost of not having this right person in the business? Cool. Okay. You don't want to pay my fee. No problem. No dramas. Or you don't want to pay the salary that I'm telling you what the market is. Okay. No problem. This is what that buys. Oh, but it hasn't got enough, they don't have enough experience. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Where's the trade-off? Like, it's, and a lot of my clients that I've worked with now get the way I recruit. So if I push back on a client, I don't think that's a good idea, guys. Or why is that? This. I had a client just before Christmas buy out a couple of my blue collar guys, trades. They're really good guys. They've been in the position a month. And I'm telling the client, do not do this. Don't do this. This is a bad idea. Don't buy the contracts out. Oh, but we really want them on the books. Okay. And I laid out a massive email about why they shouldn't do this. And they went, yep, Tavis, we acknowledge that. And I said, right, these are not underwritten. These are just buyouts. Yep, no problem. Have Merry Christmas. Cool. Great. Well, come back in January. Things have changed. Candidates have moved on. And I said, guys, this is why I told you not to do this. Like, but clients get it. Like, and there's nothing better than working with a client that understands how you operate, and vice versa. And that's why I recommend people to work in recruitment, because it's not a life job if you don't want it to be, but you'll learn how to interact with others.
Well, it's almost like the rules of friendship, isn't it? Like, I know guys are different to girls. You know, the more we give banter to each other, you know, if we say something about each other's mums or whatever, then that's a sign of friendship. But it also means you can really give that honest feedback and really push through it, you know, and people understand how you think and how you work.
Yep.
You know? And it's testimony to a friendship itself.
100%. And I mean, we could have plenty of war stories, but I tell you the biggest thing I've learned in the last in my independent recruitment career of almost 13 years. In order to be a managing director of a recruitment company and to be a recruiter is two different things. Like, I recruit for fun now. It's not where I'm best suited. Like, I'm a good recruiter. I was never a great recruiter. I'm an awesome business development guy. And that, you know, you play to your skill set, but like the mindset that I've had to change to run my own company is insane. Because it's the compliance these days is so different to what it was when you and I started out. You know, when I started out, the industrial fax machine was all the rage. And like, what's an industrial plain paper fax machine? I said, oh, fuck. Like, you come in on Monday morning and the timesheets are like this, and you're shitting yourself because the fax machine's run out of paper. Oh, shit. Like, you got to get them all in. But yeah, man, I you know, I've seen so much technology come into recruitment. Like, when I first started in recruitment, the owner of Blue Collar People was proud that he had the one of the close to the number one spot in the Yellow Pages for labour hire in Perth. I love that. Like,
it's almost romantic in some ways, isn't it? When you look back, and maybe there'll be a renaissance to these things. Anyway, on technology, then I put an article out, ironically, in the RCSA a few years ago now, and it's about technology and recruitment. And I actually put an argument out there, for argument's sake, by the way, on why technology is hindering recruitment.
Oh, 100%. Where do you want me to start?
Hit me with it, because I'm interested in your point of view with this, because it was
recruitment and account management is two different things, right? And when it comes to technology, right, I think if people are not trained in how to do things manually and why we do things and relying on technology, we are, as an industry, going to turn a lot of people into account managers. And that scares the crap out of me, because account manager is great. You got a big client, you only service that client. You don't have to learn. You don't have to, you don't have to go out and fend for your desk or whatever. But when that client ends for whatever reason, and you don't have the skill set to go find a new client, that's why a lot of people, I think, leave the industry, because they get so comfortable with one-way transactional, know this, bang. And then suddenly that client's requirements change. Okay, you've had 50, 60 people there, or you've done 20 perms. I don't need you anymore. Technology. I am very good friends, drinking buddies with Neil from Referee. Okay. And we catch up all the time and talk this. And I love that sort of tech. I love automated references. I like CRMs. I like AI. I like it all. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't rely on it to 100% do your job. Like, I'm also very good friends with Josh Hill, who's ex-network recruitment. And we discuss this all the time, where technology is great, but at the end of the day, we are in a B2B business. We're buying and selling to businesses. And yep, I had clients come to me and said, oh, we'll just go do our own recruitment. Yep, no problem. And they get all the tech and they get all the CRMs and they get all the stuff, and they try to copy what the recruitment company's doing. And 12 months time, they come back to us, because at the end of the day, the technology isn't just it's only the foundation. It's not everything there. I love tech. I think we need to embrace it more as recruiters. I love the idea of AI screening. I love the idea of AI screening client inquiries off websites. I don't like the idea of AI talking on the phone to a client. I just think we operate in these days of liability city. Employment liability is a big one for us. OH&S liability is another one. The one thing that keeps me up at night is industrial manslaughter, especially in the blue collar markets that I supply. Okay. And we go to great lengths to mitigate that. But a lot of people watching this might be just perm recruiters, but still the liability is still there if you knowingly place that person into a job and there's a problem there and you haven't disclosed it. I mean, insurance works safe. And I don't want to be all doom and gloom. It's just technology has its place. Embrace, learn. Like I'm playing around with 3 different AI platforms at the moment just to find the one that's going to fit right. But at the end of the day, know your craft, know your skill. I mean, I always say my apprenticeship program, my traineeship program is 2 years. So you're 3 months intense with me day to day. I'll go into the office 5 days a week with you. I'll never ask you to do anything that I won't do myself. And I'll sit there. And some people don't pass the program, and that's okay. Like, it's not a good fit, whatever, move on. People that have done our apprenticeship program, I only wish them the best. And that's so technology has its place, but at the end of the day, know your craft, and then bolt on the technology to it. Don't use the technology to do your job.
That's just it. And I think so. You touched on many points there to the humanizing effect. And we all like to be able to speak and meet and shake hands with a human. We almost enjoy human error now, rather than the canned responses, auto response, etc. But so the trick is, and this goes back to what you're talking about before, when people were more account managers and they're used to doing things the easy way, because that's the micro specialism, is to really know your craft, really know all the nuts and bolts, be able to be changed in a tangible manner and apply your personality, your skill set into it. The other thing which I also brought up in that particular article was when we started recruitment, when you and I started recruitment, we had people's lists, a name, we had a physical CV, we had that, and we knew them. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jason, perfect for you.
I'll do it today, mate.
Corner. It's not so good on a Monday because he usually has a heavy weekend. Whatever. And so when people rung us, say, great, who have you got in the books? We actually have got people in the books. Nowadays, at our fingertip, we have every candidate worldwide contactable one way or another. Okay.
Yeah.
So what actually happens is we're all vanilla. If you haven't got access to these things, then on that side of value proposition,
Yep.
there is very little difference. You
One,
know?
yeah, 100%. And you know, the amount of tech that we have available wise, I still remember working at Blue Collar People and having to get the deadline in for the Tuesday ads into the paper for Wednesday, and then the Friday deadline for the Saturday paper. And if you missed it, holy shit! Like, and then rocking up the office the next day, and there's a line of people around.
Yeah.
To come in. And now, if a candidate rocks up in the office, it's like, what the? Like, you know, how dare this person come to my office? Like, has he got an appointment?
Invasion of privacy.
What the? Like, I'm trying to do my job here, for Christ's sakes. Like, and, you know, then the manual data entry of the applications into the CRM. I mean, that's how far I go back.
Yeah.
I remember working for Blue Collar People, and they bought in Seek for the first time because they'd just been advertising in the paper. But different things. And like now, you know, I'm a firm believer in personal brand. I never thought I'd be doing podcasts. I never thought I'd be doing the stuff that I'm doing. I'm, you know, looking at, you know, algorithms and YouTube, and because the way people get their information now is different, and gone are the days of just, I think recruitment's becoming more of a, I've never said this before, but I'm known for shit just to pop into my mind, but we're almost becoming concierge service for jobs.
Yeah, that's actually, and that thought's popped into my head before, just when I started my business out, this one, because there was a component I was actually going to name that, but I didn't like it because it didn't sit well with me. Nothing wrong with concierge.
Well, we love concierge, guys.
It's clean, concise, whatever.
Yeah,
but we're more than that. A lot more than that.
100%. But it's like, it worries me. I mean, we could get as deep as you want with this, where someone's gone to university for 7 years and is coming to me asking for employment advice, or what should I do for a career? And I'm like, well, why did you go to university for 7 years? Well, because I didn't know what to do with myself. I get that. But at the same time as well, our job as recruiters is changing. Like, I've done a, you know, I'm a lot of people know that I'm in the car scene here in Melbourne, and, you know, a couple of candidates that have ended up working for me have needed vehicles. So I've introduced them to the car dealers that I know. Now that's not a problem, but it's gone, just, there's your job, you go sort it out. It's like, oh, you've given me a job, but now I need this and I need that and I need this and I need that. And I'm like, it's almost like we're becoming lifestyle brokers.
It's funny you should say that, because we actually do a good bit of this, and there's both sides of the fence here. So those who are listening to this, we got the B2C, B2B. So we're speaking to candidates, we're speaking to companies, and we concierge between them. Okay, but the candidates, they need a lot. Then it's not just, okay, Rushy, yeah, it's a career, it's a decision. I need to speak to this person. I need to make a comparison. I need advice compared to my existing role, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things, moving parts there. But the same thing goes with clients. It's not just the transactional recruitment. Now, they will talk to you if they're open about their budgets, their forecast, their EVP, what they're changing, where they're going, how they can compete, what their goals are, and make you part of that.
Yeah.
And it probably pulls me to my point, and it's Rob Davidson who shared this with me, who's
right. Yep.
Yeah, from Davidson Recruitment from Queensland, predominantly. And he said to me, when he moved into Sydney, okay, he found a lot of recruiters, but not a lot of recruitment consultants. How does that sit with you?
Mate, I sits with me very well. Every market has its A players and B players and C players. I'll just say it. I'm pissed off with the level of education of some recruiters in Australia. Like, just basics, like traineeship at us, we go through the RCSA. You have to have RCSA trained recruiter. No if, buts, maybes, or possibilities. Too much liability. But then I go speak to other people in other agencies, and some of them I'm really impressed with their knowledge levels, and others I'm just like, you have no fucking idea what you're doing. You are just taking a CV and just doing a spray and pray. And I think that sort of operator is what gave the recruitment industry a bad name. Don't even get me started on culture issues with other companies. I think that to find a good recruiter is someone that is prepared to hunt, who is prepared to understand the client, understand their candidate's needs, but also understand that a client may want something that's not feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Or a candidate has an expectation because they've been working on a certain type of project, so they're used to this level, but that project doesn't exist at the moment, hence why you are looking for work. And then you go, okay, so you meet these candidates or recruiters that have had this epic amount of success, and they've been at one company for 3 years, another company for 2 years, and they've just hit and suddenly that sector that they were working in is no longer, there's a government change. There's the whole industry's changed, and then they come out of that. Okay, well, you can go build a desk over here, and they go, fuck, that's too hard, or fuck, that doesn't pay enough money, or whatever. And I said, fuck it, I fully get it. But if you want what you've had, you need to go and rebuild it over here. That's why we're having this conversation.
But that's the rising tide of entitlement.
We've only just met, sir, so I'm being really on my best behavior.
And you may have forgot we've actually recorded this as well.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of stuff with me out there ranting. Trust me.
Yeah. So with the entitlement thing, I've got lots of points of view on that, and my points of view come from being a father.
Yeah.
So before I didn't really give a shit. Okay, excuse my French.
Oh, whatever, man. It's your
on the basis, but that's just someone else's life, and that's what they do. And I don't necessarily agree, but that's your way of thinking. But then when you start to look at the world through the lens of actually, this is where my son's going to grow into, and you see how it's changing. And it's like, hold on a minute, now I don't like it so much,
Yeah, I fully get it. Like, the world is changing, right? But we're going to keep this to recruiters. I think a modern day recruiter is someone that has, as a minimum, has had their desk implode on them, and they've still stayed in the industry. Like, to meet recruiters. I'll tell you the reason why I chose Melbourne over Sydney when I was looking to relocate from Perth. I used to come here as a kid, so I'm originally from South Australia. But you could feel when I moved here in 2016 that there was a real opportunity here, like a real opportunity. So, we all had this epic level of growth, all of us in the recruitment industry, right? And suddenly the last couple of years, that growth has stalled and come down a bit. And a lot of recruiters have struggled with that because they don't understand the changing dynamics of the market. It's not because they're bad recruiters or that their skill set is incorrect. It's a fact that they don't know what the fuck they don't know. And if they've only been in the industry 3 or 4 years and they've seen that, it's all about mindset. I mean, you look at a new recruiter who starts in game today. They don't know ups, they don't know downs, they don't know sideways. All they know is they just have to work hard and bring in the deals.
Yeah.
And great. That's fantastic. Versus someone who's been in the game for a while. The little voice comes in all the time. So when you say, you're talking about, that company moved to Sydney and they found, there was a lot of recruiters, but not a lot of recruitment consultants. I fully get that because the industry is deemed as easy money when it's not. And the cycle of easy money is only this fucking much of the whole business, and we've all done it. Like we go, I can't do any wrong. I'm making all these deals, all these recruitment, everyone, I'm fucking great. And then suddenly you go through this period, and I've done it myself. I had it last year, where I couldn't put a deal together for 3 months. It's all about mindset, man.
Absolutely. All right, listen, we're drawing to a close to wrap up, I've got 3 questions for you.
Ask away, sir.
Question number 1, from your experience, what's the biggest and best advice right now that you can give to candidates in general?
To candidates, update your CV. Don't ring the recruitment company 100 times a day asking for an update, and apply for work out of your comfort zone.
Good. Love it. Question number 2, the same as question number 1, but for clients.
Okay. Be completely transparent with your recruiters. Work with recruiters that ideally worked in your space. By all means, give new recruiters a go, but I wouldn't give them sole responsibility to recruit this job. Be very clear in what you need this position to do, but also be flexible. Just because you've had XYZ person in this job previously or role, or it's a new role, doesn't mean that the recruiter can't give you practical advice on maybe changing the role and putting someone that's better suited to that position in there. Because you're never going to find dealing with clients that have a cookie cutter mindset is hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard. And I'm like, okay, you've got that, but what about this? Oh, well, we have never thought about that. Well, do you want to move forward as a productive company, or do we just want to sit here and argue about cookies?
Love it. Love it. I resonate with both of those. And the final question of the day is, if someone wants to make contact with you, how should they do so?
LinkedIn's my social media drug of choice. LinkedIn's probably the best. By all means, I'm on Insta. I'm on all the platforms, but the biggest one for me would be LinkedIn.
Too easy. How's that? I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for your time, Tavis.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you did enjoy it, had lots of takeaways from it. As before, please subscribe below so you can keep on top of any new releases we have. And also, if you would like to have your story told, just reach out with me and I'd love to give you that platform. My best email address is tom@purplepatchconsulting.com. Thank you.